library, and the other kids made fun of her. And but you know, now in California, you're not allowed to do that because those kids belong to the state. And if you're a Christian and you say, I do not want my parent, to, my child to learn about homosexuals and all this stuff, it's too bad. We own your kids, and they have to go to that class.
We know best.
We know best.
The cultural war, what does that imply?
It's not a war so much in a literal sense of, what happened is the communists discovered that they weren't going to be able to, that Karl Marx thought that proletariat was going to take over the bourgeoisie, and there was going to be an actual physical revolt, and that Marx just saw that wasn't going to happen. So what they found out is that they need to do it through elections, but they need to stop the Christian church. They need to stop people of faith that believe in the Bible. They need to undermine cultures in Germany and in Europe and now the United States.
And your book covers this. So.
I cover that, and it discusses the issue of attacking families, attacking family values, and attacking the church.
It's a war between good and evil.
That's right, exactly. And you know, there's in my book I have a lot of big expensive words like postmodernism and liberalism.
By the way, it's a great read. You will be able to get through this. Actually, you won't put it down.
Oh, thank you.
That's the way it'll go, because you start reading it and you're going to have to go right through it. And that's what I like. I like a book that captures your attention.
But what I was going to say is there's a lot of words that some people stumble over, but to get it simple, all those words, postmodernism, liberalism, all that means is just lack of faith in God's word.
That's right.
Just lack of faith.
Our founding fathers, can you imagine if we could go, okay, we are back to America. Take a look around, watch what comes out of the White House, all the politicians, then critique me today on what you see. I mean, they would go, where am I? What is this?
You know, it's not a racial issue. Obama likes to compare himself to our forefathers and so forth, but it's not a black-white issue, because I've been involved with prison ministry, and we as Christians, we work brothers with brothers, and it's not a racial issue. I don't have a problem with Obama obviously being black.
But it's interesting,
but
it's interesting why they paint you that way.
Right.
If you have an opinion other than the party line.
But if you study Saul Alinsky and that technique, is Obama can't run on his record, so he has to flip it to an ethnic thing or a class warfare, the rich against the poor against the rich, and so forth. What he's trying to do, he's trying to get a group, and it's working pretty good, because he's got about 50% of the vote, but he's trying to get minorities, Hispanics, blacks, women, and try and pit them against white males, and it's about and then people on unemployment and so forth. So he's done a pretty good job, but it's a very evil concept, because we're all Americans.
Well, the people that are protesting, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the videos where they put a microphone in front of their mouth and say, do you know why you're out here? Do you know what that sign means, and so forth? And they have no clue. And many of them will say, well, I don't know, somebody paid me to be here. And then they check a little further and they find out it's a union or some connected Soros or somebody that has paid the tab, but they're out there making it look like we are protesting because we are upset, whereas the Tea Party actually knew why they were there.
Can I tell you a quick story about unions?
Yes.
When I was going to seminary, I was driving a bus to make a living, and there was a union protest thing at a building site, and they hired, like you say, they hired these people down in downtown LA, bottom of Orange County, but they used the non-union bus because it was cheaper. I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had
you wouldn't call them hypocrites, would you?
But these people weren't in the union, and they used me, which was non-union, to take to a protest site on unions.
Is the Tea Party dead? You keep hearing that.
I don't, you know, people keep saying that's a bunch of baloney. First of all, I don't think Mitt Romney can win without bringing a conservative Tea Party person aboard with him, like Marco Rubio. And also, look at, what about the local, in Oregon, we've got a congressman running his Tea Party. He's a Christian, not just a libertarian type Ron Paul thing. This guy's he's a Christian, and he may win in Oregon, in my district, 8th district, 4th district, and so it's also local elections. But
Oh, absolutely.
but
It
when
starts there.
I would, before we finish, so I do also want to talk not just about politics and the economy, but I want to talk about our schools and our kids, if you
Yeah.
get a chance. I'd
Yeah,
like
in
to-
fact,
Yeah.
I'm going right there. Hitler tossed the Frankfurt School out, and then their philosophy moved to America. Start there.
Yeah, there were a lot of Jewish people involved with communism and so forth. And when Hitler came to power, a lot of these people had to flee. And so where do they go? They go to America, where freedom is. A lot of them ended up at Columbia University, where Obama actually went, and some of them went to Harvard. And what they decided, what they found out is that, like I say, is that they couldn't overturn capitalism physically with a war. So what they did, like I said, is what they've done, and I say it in the book, is they've attacked our church, our family, our country, moral values, and they make fun of Christian values, and so the casualties of this spiritual war or cultural war are our children. And if you teach our children that they're animals and that we're animals and that there's no right or wrong, then you lose control of the schools.
Okay, now you've got to send, as parents, your children to public schools. So as much as you teach them at home, you send them to,
Homeschooling.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, if not everybody can do that.
Right.
Some people have jobs, they can't do it.
I've got an answer.
Okay.
The answer is the voucher system, because if the taxpayers who pay the taxes, if they could choose which school, there would be a mass exodus out of the public schools, because the public schools are not teaching kids to reading, writing.
That's why they won't do it.
They had
That's what the
That's
labor
why they
union,
won't do it.
the teachers union,
Exactly.
they had that system in Washington D.C. when Obama came in. He withdrew it.
Yeah.
Of course.
And the minorities were loving it. They were getting
That's
a good
right.
education for the first time, going
That's
to a
right.
school
That's
that
right.
actually had competent teachers.
And it's not the number of teachers and students. You can have a teacher with 70 kids in the classroom, but it's your worldview. It's your technique.
It's all about the
It's authority. It's
worldview.
authority.
Yep.
Moving right along, financial Armageddon, the Keynesian economics. That's President Obama's favorite
Right.
economic
And
teaching.
and Republicans. Nixon said we're all Keynesians now. Okay, if you go back to when the Tea Party started, Larry Kudlow is a man on finance.